It's not that long, so let's go.
My name is Latifa Thompson Lowe. I'm 39. I've been with Juniper for 4 months and I have lost 27.5 kilos. The reason I prefer Juniper over anything else is because the dispenser literally...
Alright, by the way, my name is Russell, aka Alkebulan Trust, a name you can trust when it comes to all things reactions. I'm going to react to Suge Knight finally breaks silent on Biggie Smalls. Diddy made him come to LA. I mean, Gene Dore already said it. You know what I mean? Kirk Burrows already said it because he was supposed to be in London. And you know what's so interesting? I don't want to say funny. The interview he was meant to do in London that was booked for him to do in London, he was meant to be interviewed by, you know, Richard Blackwood. If you know about Richard Blackwood, 1, 2, 3, 4, get what they're going to get. RB wants the show. Do you know what I mean? Shout out to Richard Blackwood, man. Legend in this thing. Icon as well. You know what I mean? But, you get me? He took on my radio show at one point. But it is what it is. Anyway, no, he legit did. Yeah, he was supposed to be a guest on my radio show with my co-host, should I say. And you know what I mean? Like he literally, when I say he literally took over the show as if he was the host. Anyway, but it made sense because of his experience, you know what I mean? But yeah, man. But anyway, yeah, he was meant to be interviewed. Speaking of interview, Biggie was supposed to be in London being interviewed by, do you know what I mean? So I think that I don't know if the interview is supposed to be on the same night, or I can't even remember this. I literally cannot remember, but Richard Blackwood has said it. So if he has said it, I'm not gonna throw out say, oh, he's lying. No, I'm not saying that. You know what I mean? Because Kirk Burrows already said Biggie was supposed to be in London. Like Kirk Burrows already said it. You know what I mean? So let's keep it moving. Let's go.
When you look at Big Murder, do you believe he came to LA too soon after Tupac got killed?
I don't know the temperature, but I can give my opinion. And the reason why I say I don't know the temperature, because I was already in the county jail.
Exactly. And why was he in jail? Let's put this into perspective. Because so many people not so many people, there's also that rumor out there that Suge Knight was involved with the whole Biggie situation. But then it got roles reversed where they ended up saying Diddy was involved with Biggie's situation and Suge Knight was involved with Tupac's situation. You know what I mean? But either way, that rumor is there, right? And what I find very intriguing in regards to this particular line of question and how he answered is simple and just facts. It's like he was in jail. He doesn't know what the temperature was out there like that to even know whether it was too soon for Biggie to go to LA. Do you know what I mean? However, what he does know, he was in jail. And the thing is, why was he in jail? I need people to understand exactly why he was in jail. He was in jail because he broke his bail. You know what I mean? His bail conditions. Like, had Tupac survived, yeah, he also would have went back to jail because he would have broke his bail conditions as well. And what triggered them to break their bail conditions is because of what they did to Orlando Anderson. Now, okay, Suge Knight wants to say he was helping stop the fight, but come on, we all saw that kick. We saw it. You know what I mean? We saw it. We saw it. You know what I mean? Same way we saw you literally, you know what I mean, drive that car. Get me? Like, we saw it. Get me? Now, and it's not even a joking matter either, to be honest. But like the reality is he was in jail because of that. You know what I mean? That's why. So that's very key. I need people to understand the key thing here. That's key.
But from what I hear from different people talking, you know, people talk in prison, people talk on the streets, people run their mouth. And if it's true, I can't say if it was too soon for him to come to LA or they came to LA because they wanted to. I was told that he wasn't ready to come to LA. I was told that Puffy pretty much made him come to LA.
You see?
And that puzzles me because the rumor has it that all the different involvement of all the different rival shit was involved in it. And I'm not saying that's to be true because I never personally thought that Biggie was involved when we got shot and when Pac lost his life.
You see, you heard that. Suge Knight doesn't believe that Diddy was involved. So we can rule him out as far as that is concerned, right? We can rule that out. But however, we still don't know. We still don't know. We still don't know. At least he knows who he saw. And if it is true that he's going blind, yeah, he needs to be a key witness as soon as possible, really and truly. Unless they can do laser eye surgery, and I don't know, but even, you know what I mean? Yeah, laser eye surgery, that should help. But I don't know, like, I'm not a surgeon, but like, maybe that could help. You know what I mean? However, yeah, I do think at the end of the day, and I know you're thinking, yeah, you're snitching. Now, listen, when it comes to things like that, hell yeah, it should snitch. What are we talking about? He was in the car, bruv. What are we talking? Do you know what I mean? Nah, forget that. Then again, I'm not from the streets, so get me. I ain't from the streets. Don't want to be from the streets. Get me? If you want to be from the streets and live by that code, you can live by that code. Get me? I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be a civilian. All right, minding my own business. That's what I'm gonna do. All right. However, but speaking about this particular business, because my business is content creation. So, hey, but no, for real though, look, yeah, some may call it a snitching or whatever the case is, but it's only snitching if, like, I swear, snitching is only a thing, yeah, where you do a crime together. There's like a group of you, or even if it's just two of you, and the one person tells on the other person to the police or to the federal, to the investigate, or the DI or the detective investigator or whoever. You know what I mean? That's when it's snitching, really and truly. You know what I'm saying? That's when it's snitching. Saying it's that, like, and whatever, I don't know what it is, leverage they have over you to be able to snitch, that's on you, innit? But like, I don't know. That's the same thing of what Scott D said. Scott D, don't snitch. No need to go to the Fed to get rich. Get me? If you know, you know. I'm only saying that because I just seen this right here. Get me? So that hat and that. If you know, you know. Let's go.
I know Lil C's. It wasn't Lil C's. It was a motherfucker that said they was Lil C's. And I can't see through the phone, so I don't know if he was the little short dude or a tall dude acting like Lil C's. But he called Death Row. He put him on. I told him to send the call through, and I talked to him. And he told me that Biggie didn't have any involvement with it. I took that as face value. So I had a lot of respect for Biggie to have Lil C's called in. Like I said, I'm not saying that was him and not him. It sounded like him to me, but who am I? I ain't never talked.
All this means is Little C is going to appear on our dialogues very soon. Mark my words. That's what's going to happen. But anyway, and it's going to only make sense because he's going to have to speak about Biggie's mom and stuff like that as well, the interaction and stuff like that, and then also the situation that's going on with Diddy as well. Like, And do you know what I mean? Then we're gonna find out what happened at Hot 97 with Capone and Noriega and them man there. Yeah, listen, you know what I mean? But I know he's got to try and not say too much if he wants to stay, good friends with Little Kim and that. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's keep moving.
I'll talk to that little dude, really. But at the same time, I don't believe in speculating. I don't believe in guessing. I just know factual stuff. I know that when I take Tupac to New York, shit, I'm with him 24/7 and we move around like we both move around. I know if they thought it was an East Coast, West Coast feud or rivalry, whatever, if I was the CEO, a bad boy, and if I was Puffy, I would be kicking myself in the ass every day because on my watch, I love Tupac. Tupac meant the world to me. Tupac made Death Row to the next level. I started Death Row Records. When Tupac came and got on Death Row, and we did All Eyes on Me, we turned the name to Untouchable Death Row. And I be damned, there's something going on. I'm not going to be there to do my best to protect my artist, or my little brother, or my loved one.
You hear that? I'd be damned if I couldn't do anything to protect my little brother or my artist, especially artists. That's key. You know what I'm saying? That's key as well. Because at the end of the day, the reality is your artist is your asset. And if they are your best asset, and I know some people want to say, yeah, but what if? No. That's not how it works. Plus, at the same time, like, if you know anything about the paperwork here, Tupac wasn't really signed to that label anyway. He was still signed to Interscope. And it's funny because I was watching an episode of Power Book 3, Raising Canaan, Season 4, Episode 3. I'm mentioning that specific episode. There's a scene between the record executive and B Riddle. Yeah? Watch that particular scene. I ain't going to say too much, but when I first saw it, the first thing that came to mind was Jimmy Iovine, and I'm not saying B Riddle or the person playing him is Tupac or like Tupac, but I'm saying I'm thinking the interaction between him, Jimmy Iovine, and Tupac would have been similar. And I'm not. Wait a minute. What if that's where they got that inspiration from? Because there's nothing new under the sun. But let's keep it moving. But yeah, but watch that scene, and you will understand what I'm talking about if you haven't watched it already. Watch that scene.
So when it happened at the MGM, normally Pac will be driving himself, and he got people in the car with him. But since something happened, it's on my watch to do my best to protect him. That's how Tupac ended up in the car with me. That's how I got shot also. I'm never going to let my little brother, my artist, not be next to me. Because if they're in another car, I can't really do nothing to help them. I know I check the boxes straight. I know that I made the call to put extra security on Tupac. I know I gave the order.
And the person I was showing you earlier, Delray Richardson, he also mentioned that, and because Suge Knight mentioned it before, but also Frank Alexander, who was Tupac's one of his bodyguards, also mentioned that to Reggie Wright Jr. You know what I mean? Who was the head of the security. Like, I think, like we're gonna we will react to this. We're gonna properly react to this because I remember I said this before. I will only react to more of these stuff, and I didn't even end up reacting to it because of the situation that was had from my account. But we're here now, so let's go.
And pay for every person that's doing security, retired police officer, off-duty police officer, to have a firearm to make sure they're there to protect Tupac. I know I made the call and had a conversation. If you're doing security, if you're retired police, or if you're still a cop, you're going to have your firearm on you. And if you didn't even have a principal or what you was doing security for, you're going to have your firearm on you to protect yourself first.
Exactly. Keep this in mind because I'm going to react to one particular documentary. Yeah, if it's still available to watch, I'm gonna watch. Yeah.
Now, if you doing security for Tupac, the best artist in the business ever, the most controversial, the most loudest nigga, the more aggressive nigga, and you're not gonna have your gun on you. I say that, and I look at that, and I say, wow. Then I look at the situation. Like I said, I was in jail, but the situation, how they say it went down with Biggie, I feel bad for Puffy.
Hang on. Before we carry on with that, the fact that he even said that, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, think about it. It's just logic. He literally described how Tupac is. As much of a great artist he is, or he was, do you know what I mean? Well, he technically, as much of a great artist he is, he was also loud, and he was also aggressive, but also controversial. Now, why would you not carry, like, if you're off duty police or you are a police, why would you not carry, you know what I mean, what needs to be carried to also help protect who you've been hired to protect? That means you failed as a security, and Reggie Wright Jr. has also admitted he failed. He literally, there's a video of him mentioning that he failed. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he still said, that's what I'm gonna say. That's Suge Knight saying. But at the same time, nah, look, it's oh man. Let me just carry on because time is pushing. Let's keep moving on.
He and that motherfucker cell cold, hungry as a motherfucker, bored, probably nervous, but at the same time, unless he was totally against Biggie, I feel his pain. And I'm not saying he against Biggie, but I think that according to the conversations and what people say and what people tell me, I was not there. I couldn't see what happened, but for the fact that I feel bad for Puffy because this your man right there. How is he shot and you not shot? This your man right there. He should be, I can't say I wasn't there, but if he wasn't in that car with Biggie, he should have been in that car with Biggie.
Damn. He basically said you should have been in a car with Biggie. Daniel. Yo, Daniel. Anyway, let's see what people say in the comments real quick. It says Biggie should have stayed out of California for a couple of years. That's true. Gene Doe definitely said Biggie didn't even want to go to Cali. But we're going back to Cali. Who's got a song like that? Isn't that Biggie's song? And it didn't also help with Biggie. I'm not, again, I'm not saying it's right that situation happened. I'm not saying that. What I am going to say is, even if he was not supposed to be in LA at that time, at the same time, he shouldn't have taunted, do you know what I mean, people in LA, because remember, this is what, 6-7 months prior, like not prior, after the fact of what happened to Tupac. That is still fresh. So at the end of the day, you got to think, and even on radio, and said, you know what I mean, like this Tupac on radio in LA, like think, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's easier said than done. Hindsight is 2020. I get it, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Like there's some things you just shouldn't do. That's one of them. Just don't be doing it. Anyway, this is what people are saying. What was always suspicious to me was that Puffy moved to LA after Big. How after the big situation, how was he so confident his life wasn't in danger? Someone just, your artist in front of you. Yo, if that's true, he moved to LA. Actually, he did move to LA, but I don't know how soon it was though. Rapping long kiss. See, look, here, see, what did I say about radio? Rapping long kiss goodnight on a West Coast radio show didn't help. I literally was just saying that. If Suge ever do a sit down on Drink Champs, it'll break the internet. That will need to be a 5-hour show. Suge got stories. The question is, how are they going to do that though? No, they can do it. I just realized, because Suge Knight got his own podcast, and if he teams up with what's that brother's name that also was part of the helped create the Source Source magazine and the Source award show, and that is it, I can't remember his name, but he also helped create Collect Call with Suge Knight podcast, which I haven't watched for a long time, after he said something that was outrageous about one of my favorite artists of all time. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, knowing that he was lying in regards to that, I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Do you know what I mean? I was supporting the podcast at one point, but yeah, I'm out. That's how simple it gets. If you don't support something, you don't have to, you know what I mean? But if you do support what I'm doing, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification. You know what I mean? I might have to subscribe back to his podcast again now. Path Lord Big to he knew exactly what he was going, His biggest artist, he was at the time injured, yeah, with no security. Puff knew what he was doing. Well, security was there, was Gene Deal, no security on that night. But like, well, yeah, because Gene Deal was in that car, do you know what I mean? And yeah, that's why he's always had this thing. But then this is the other thing. Why would you still work with, if you knew, or why would you still work with Diddy? Like, I don't understand. Why would you still work for him? Get me? I just don't understand. I didn't know the temperature. Bro, you were in charge of the entire thermostat. Suge Knight has that demeanor, and he has that, you know what I mean? Let me just keep it moving, because time, and yeah, yeah. This was interesting, because when the facts come out, let's see how everything plays out. Get me? Longley Park. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are as well, yeah, because that's, yo, he's completely right about his artists. Shout out to Avars. Says, can you react to my first ever home record music and give me any pointers? Yeah, sure. Let me yeah, sure. Yeah, just send the link, and then I should be able to react to it. So long as you ain't signed to Sony Music Entertainment. No, for real. Send it to me, and I'll see if I can record that. I'll put that on my list of things to react to next when I'm live. All right. So I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the suggestion and stuff like that. But yeah, man, hit the like button if you haven't already. Stay subscribed if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, if you haven't subscribed, you might as well hit the subscribe button. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I am gonna go live again, but I don't know when. Yeah, man. Other than that, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Like I said before, I'm gonna say it over and over again until you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment in the comments below, and share. Share. Because sharing is caring. Because at the same time, yeah.